This is All India Radio. Please stand by for our next program.
This is All India Radio. You will now hear comments from the press. The Times of India in its editorial titled Just Do It says, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman last week spelled out a policy ideal which government proposes to implement. It has three parts. First, it plans to identify multinational corporations which are shifting out of China or intend to. Second, it will prepare a blueprint to woo them. Third, India will be sold as a preferable investment destination. As a statement of intent, it is important and welcome. The last couple of years have seen an intensification of trade friction between US and China. This throws up opportunities India must capture. If India is to be marketed as a preferable investment destination, there is no substitute for embarking on big reforms aimed at imparting flexibility to the factors of production. It is not easy for either Indian entrepreneurs or overseas companies to acquire land to set up large assembly lines. This needs to change. Further, Bangladesh's success in footwear and apparel exports demonstrate the impact of labour market flexibility. Finally, India needs to lift caps on direct foreign investment limits in all sectors and also reverse the policy of tariff increases to protect domestic industry. These are strategies which have no place in the contemporary world where the race is to capture a larger share of value addition in complex products. The Economic Times in its editorial titled 3 Taught Child to Unproductive Work says teacher shortage continues to plague India's school education system. The Niti Aayog School Education Quality Index found that a large percentage of schools across states fail to meet the right of education's norms for pupil-teacher ratio. Only 50% of upper primary schools in 22 states fulfill the norms. The International Labour Organization ILO found that India had 14 teachers for every 1,000 under 15-year-olds. India clearly needs more teachers, but simply increasing the number of teachers or meeting set norms will not improve learning outcomes and augment the quality of human capital. India must focus on augmenting both the quantity and quality of its teachers. A robust teacher selection mechanism to attract individuals with the capacity and commitment to teaching is essential. This system should include pathways for identifying students with aptitude and interest in teaching, nurturing them and funding their higher education, who once trained will return to teach at the schools. Improving learning outcomes will require giving greater autonomy to schools and teachers to design their curriculum. The national curriculum should be a broad document that gives top-line guidelines for the school system, but the details of what schools teach, how they teach, should be left to schools. This will allow teachers to shape the curriculum to the requirements of the students and ensure positive outcomes for them. The Indian Express in its editorial title No, Yes and No writes there's a phrase among television critics in the US, jumping the shark, that refers to a TV show becoming boring for audiences as it drags on long after the fundamental conflict that moves the plot forward has become stale. By the time Britain's Conservative Prime Minister Boris Johnson tried to force through Parliament a hurriedly negotiated deal with the European Union, the Brexit drama has long since jumped the shark for many. But UK's legislators did not buckle under pressure of the looming October 31st deadline and the prospect of an economically catastrophic no-deal Brexit. Instead, a section of MPs cutting across party lines passed an amendment withholding support for Johnson's deal. The amendment is also a tactic to force the PM to request another extension from the EU. For his part, Johnson has said he will not request an extension and will push for a vote on his deal. At the core of Johnson's bravado lies the belief, not unfounded, that he is fulfilling the will of the British people. The referendum in 2016 was a vote for Brexit, and it armed with this expression of the will of the people that pro-exit leaders made their stand. Yet it is becoming increasingly clear that other equally salient aspects of the Westminster system are fighting back. Issues like the Irish backstop as well as the stand taken by Scottish MPs and parties have brought to the fore the challenges of balancing the claims of the UK's federal units vis-à-vis the commitment to Brexit. Second, the 48% of Britons who chose to stay with the EU have stood against the referendum. Finally, the British Parliament, it has become clear over the last few weeks, will not sacrifice the economic future of the country at the altar of political expediency without a fight. What the nearly 4-year-long tussle over Brexit has really made clear is that the referendum is not an adequate tool for the determination of complex issues. A yes-no binary cannot form the backbone of a decision with as many facets as this. Yet, once such an opinion is sought, it is only through a second referendum that the mandate can be comprehensively overturned. Johnson, for example, has kept to the letter of the law by acquiescing to Parliament and asking the EU for an extension. He has also kept to his commitment to the yes vote by writing a second letter saying he does not favour an extension. The Brexit drama may seem interminable, but its central contradiction remains. Those were the comments from the press presented to you by the News Services Division of All India Radio.
This broadcast came to you from the Delhi station of All India Radio. And now we have for you the program summary for today and tomorrow on Rajdhani channel.